Ever find yourself, scrolling through those property websites, daydreaming about maybe a cute little London townhouse
Mm-hmm.
or maybe a cozy cottage in the Cotswolds?
Yeah.
We're diving deep into that world today, the world of UK estate agents.
Okay.
Because, let's be real for a sec. Buying a place, it's kind of a big deal, right?
Huge.
Whether you're dreaming of that perfect home or just trying to wrap your head around how this whole property thing works,
Right.
getting a grip on estate agents,
Yeah.
what they do, it's key.
Yeah,
And to
definitely.
help us, navigate this whole world of for sale signs and all that property jargon,
All the lingo.
we've got our expert here.
Happy to be here. It's a really interesting world when you get into it. There's history, strategy, and yeah, a bit of that insider language that we can help unpack a bit.
Love it. Now, I've always been kind of fascinated by estate agents.
Yeah.
They always seem to have this sixth sense about property.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into the nuts and bolts of what they do, let's rewind a bit.
Okay.
Our source, the Wikipedia article on estate agents, mentions their role has really changed over time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the term estate agent, it kind of brings to mind those, sharp suits in those modern offices.
Right.
But their roots, they go way, way back, centuries, really, back when they were more like land stewards,
Oh, hey.
managing these massive estates for, well, the very wealthy.
So picture this sprawling countryside estates, maybe not quite Downton Abbey, but
Right.
you get the idea. So from managing land for the aristocracy to helping us regular folks find a flat to rent, it's a big change.
A huge shift, yeah. Over time, as, more people could own land, the role kind of, it naturally evolved
Yeah.
to focus on buying, selling, renting, individual properties.
Okay, so that explains the whole estate part of the equation.
Right.
But you mentioned something super important earlier, we're looking specifically at the UK system here.
Yeah, and that's really crucial because while, buying and selling property might seem pretty universal,
Right.
the UK system, it has its own quirks, its own regulations that make it really different from, say, the US real estate market.
So all those assumptions we might have from binge watching those American house hunting shows, they might not hold up so well.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking different terms, different rules, even a whole different culture around buying and selling property.
Fascinating.
It's really important to grasp those nuances, especially if you want to navigate the UK market, successfully.
Got it. So no two markets are the same. Makes sense.
Right.
But let's get back to those estate agents for a
Yeah.
sec.
Yeah.
They do more than just, stick a for sale sign out front and wait, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're think of them as local property gurus.
What?
They need to have their finger on the pulse, know what's up in their market,
Right.
which neighborhoods are up and coming, are there any new developments, new infrastructure projects, all that.
Wow. So it's not just about knowing how many bedrooms a house has.
No, not at all.
It's about will that new train line mean my house is worth more, or is it going to be really noisy?
Exactly. It's about strategic analysis, connecting the dots
Wow.
between what's happening locally and the trends in the market.
Right.
A good estate agent, they don't just know the bricks and mortar, they understand the feel of the community,
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But even with all that local knowledge, buying and selling property, it can feel kind of scary,
I can imagine, yeah.
especially when you get to fees and regulations and all that.
Yeah.
Tell me the UK system isn't the Wild West of property deals?
No, don't worry, we're not in the Wild West.
Okay.
The UK system, it is complex, but it does have structures in place
Okay.
to make sure there's some oversight, some accountability,
Okay. That's good to know. So who are the sheriffs of this whole
Right.
property town?
Right. So one of the key players is it's called NAEA Property Mark.
Okay.
It's a professional body for estate agents. They set the rules, essentially.
Right.
They have a code of conduct for their members,
Guys.
and they can enforce it.
Okay.
Through disciplinary actions, we're talking fines,
Oh, wow.
up to £5,000 per infraction.
Okay. So they're serious about maintaining those standards,
Yeah, they mean business.
which is good to know for anyone who's ever felt a little unsure about those estate agent fees.
Right.
Speaking of which, can we talk about those fees? I think everyone wants to know about
The
them.
fees, right. That's where it can feel like you need a secret decoder ring sometimes.
Exactly. So let's break it down a bit, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yeah, those fees, it's like a whole other language sometimes.
Right. Okay, so let's translate a bit.
Please.
What are the most common fee structures you'd see as a buyer or seller in the UK?
Okay.
Well, traditionally, estate agents, they've worked on this percentage basis,
Okay.
which basically means they take a cut of the final sale price.
Right. So the higher the price, the higher their fee.
Exactly.
Which, I don't know, makes me wonder, do they really, like, try harder if a place is worth £1,000,000 versus, half that?
That's a great question. And it's actually one of the reasons why you're seeing these alternative fee structures popping up.
Okay.
Like you've got fixed fees, for example,
Right.
which are, way more transparent.
Right.
You agree on a set fee up front, and that's it, no matter what the final sale price is.
So no surprises, which I bet is a relief for sellers, especially if, like, the market's hot and prices are going crazy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially then.
Makes sense.
And then you've got the no sale, no fee model.
Right, right. Which, I mean, it sounds pretty good on the surface. Like,
It does, doesn't it?
you're not risking anything.
Right.
But I'm guessing there's, like, a downside there somewhere.
Well, there's always a trade-off, right? With no sale, no fee. The agent, they might not be as, how do I say, motivated
Right.
to get you the absolute top price.
Okay.
Because their fee isn't directly linked to that final amount, you see.
So it's like you're weighing up, like, potential savings
Exactly.
versus, I don't know, how much hustle you think your property needs.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting because then you've got the online estate agents.
Right, right. The online folks,
Yeah.
it's like every industry's got them now.
Right. They've shaken things up.
They have. So what's different about them?
Well, for one, their fees are often way lower, like significantly lower.
Okay.
Either through those fixed rates we talked about or just lower percentages.
Right.
And that's mainly because their overheads are just lower. They don't have
Right. No fancy offices.
exactly no high street storefront to pay for.
Right, right. So those savings get passed on, I guess.
Exactly.
But what about that, like, local expertise we talked about? Can online agents really compete on that?
That's the million-pound question, isn't it?
It is.
And the answer is, well, it depends.
Okay.
Some online agents, they do have local experts on staff, while others rely more on tech, centralized support.
Okay.
So it's really a case of buyer beware, seller beware.
Right.
Do your research, understand what you're getting.
Got it.
Don't be afraid to ask the tough questions like
What?
what's their track record in your area? How do they handle viewings? Do they have any, local insights that other agents might not?
Right. So it's all about being informed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power, right?
It really is, especially when you've got so many options.
Right.
Now, whether you go traditional or online, there's one tool that seems pretty essential these days.
Yeah.
The MLS.
The MLS, yes, the multiple listing service.
Like, I hear that term all the time,
Right.
but I'm not sure I totally get it.
Okay. So in simple terms, it's basically this huge database where all the estate agents, they can share info about the properties they're listing.
Okay, so instead of, like, each agent having their own little book of listings.
Right, exactly.
All in one place.
It's all shared. Yeah, it's like this giant online catalog of properties for sale.
Okay.
But it's only for registered estate agents.
Oh, okay. Got
which
it.
changes everything, really.
How so?
Well, for sellers, it means their property is getting seen by like way more potential buyers.
Right.
Buyers benefit because they have access to more properties, a wider selection.
Right.
And agents, well, it just makes their lives easier.
Yeah.
It streamlines everything, finding properties, sharing info. It's all much smoother.
So it's a win-win for everyone then.
Pretty much, yeah. It's all about efficiency and transparency, which, let's be honest, are super important in a market as fast-moving as the UK's.
It really is. This is making me realize just how much is going on behind the scenes of those for sale signs.
Right.
We talked earlier about this deep dive being very UK-centric.
We did.
What are some of the, like, key things that someone used to say the U.S. system might find surprising about UK estate agents?
One big difference is this idea of sole agency versus multiple agency when you're selling.
Sole agency, multiple agency, those sound kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
secretive.
Right, like secret societies.
Yeah, break it down for us.
Okay, so sole agency, that means you're basically putting all your eggs in one basket.
Okay.
You're entrusting the sale of your property to one estate agent. They get exclusive rights to market it, sell it.
So it's like a one-on-one relationship. For better or worse.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, and multiple agency is, well, just what it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much you're hiring multiple estate agents,
Wow.
all trying to sell your property at the same time.
Okay, so more cooks in the kitchen.
Right. You could say that it's like casting a wider net, trying to attract as many potential buyers as possible.
But isn't that like a recipe for disaster, for things getting messy?
It can be, yeah, if it's not managed well.
Right.
With multiple agency, you really need to have like crystal clear agreements with each agent
Okay.
about their fees, what they're responsible for, all of that.
Yeah.
Plus, you're potentially dealing with more viewings, more negotiations, more paperwork, just more of everything.
Sounds like it could get a bit overwhelming.
It definitely can be.
Right.
So again, weigh the pros and cons.
Right.
If you want like a more hands-off approach,
Okay.
sole agency might be better.
Okay.
But if you need to sell quickly and you're okay with a bit more, hustle and bustle,
Yeah.
multiple agency might be the way to go.
It's all about finding the right fit for you, really.
That's it. Like choosing between, I don't know, a bespoke tailor and a department store.
I like that analogy.
Each has its pros and cons, right?
Totally.
And while we're on the topic of finding the right fit,
Yeah.
the UK system, it's got some specific rules about renting property too, and that's where those tenant referencing checks come in.
Oh, right. Tenant referencing checks, right? For someone who's like always rented.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered what those actually like involve. It's kind of like a background check, right? For renters.
It really is, yeah. Letting agents, landlords, they want to make sure you're going to be a responsible tenant.
Right.
So they'll usually look into your credit history, maybe call up previous landlords, see if you paid your rent on time, all that.
Okay. Makes sense. It protects like both sides, I guess.
Exactly.
Landlords avoid, problem tenants.
Right.
And tenants, well, they benefit from a more, I don't know, reliable rental market, I guess.
Exactly. Everyone's on the same page.
Right, right. And speaking of protecting renters.
Yeah.
Did you know that, like, back in the day, letting agents could actually charge you just for, like, a list of properties?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. It's crazy.
Thankfully, they put a stop to that.
Thank goodness for that, right?
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know those regulations are there to keep things,
Fair.
fair. Exactly.
Yeah, the UK market, I mean, it's got its quirks,
It does.
but it has become more, like, transparent, more consumer-friendly over time, which is good.
Definitely. It's amazing. We've traveled through the entire history of the UK property market.
We really have, haven't we?
From those like early estate managers with their massive estates
Right.
to today's, tech savvy agents with their online portals and algorithms and all that.
It's been quite a journey, and you know what?
What's that?
The more things change,
Yeah.
the more they stay the same, in a way.
How so?
Well, the core of it is still about understanding how this world works.
That's true.
Whether you're buying, selling, renting, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. I love that. I went into this thinking it was going to be all like dry facts and figures,
Yeah.
but I've actually come away with this whole new appreciation for what estate agents, what they actually do.
It's more than just opening doors, isn't it?
It really is. It's like understanding the market, the regulations, helping people through, one of the biggest decisions they'll ever make.
Absolutely. It takes a special kind of person,
Right.
You need that mix of people skills, market knowledge, even a bit of psychology thrown in
No,
there.
totally. You got to be able to like read people, understand what they need.
Exactly. And then negotiate for them, make it happen.
And let's not forget, you got to be able to like decipher that unique estate agent language.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a whole other language sometimes.
Speaking of, any other essential estate agent lingo our listeners should like add to their vocabulary?
Oh, there's so many, but one of my favorites is bijou.
Bijou. Okay.
It sounds, charming,
It does.
but it's usually code for, let's just say, compact and cozy.
Right, right. Especially when we're talking about like a flat in the middle of London.
Exactly. You gotta love the estate agent spin.
They've definitely spun us a good tale today. I can't believe how much we've covered.
It's amazing what you can find when you dig a little deeper,
It really is. So next time you see one of those for sale signs,
Yeah.
remember there's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes.
A lot more.
Who knows? Maybe you'll even find yourself speaking fluent estate agent before you know it.
That's the dream, isn't it?
Until next time, everyone, happy house hunting.
Happy hunting.